This is a very cute and stylish little camping light. It's got 8 LED filaments. Let me give you a demonstration of it. So when you switch it on, it is actually glaringly bright, far too bright, and it is pulse width modulated for the next setting. So it's got the high, medium, bit of flicker there, but you don't see that with the human eye, and then the low setting. The other mode it's got is at any time you can press and hold this button and it will turn into the flashlight mode, so it actually projects a good beam for quite a distance. It's got the suitable lens in the end. So if you press it again, it will go to the lower setting of that, which is again pulse width modulated. Okie dokie. So the charging of this is done via the USB-C port on the side. It's got this little strange silicone flap that is optional. You can pull it off, but I think it's just to shed water to a degree, just to protect it from water ingress. Not sure. But anyway, let's open this up. So some provisional investigation has shown that this is also a rubbery thing. So this can come off. I'll zoom down for this. Way too much. That's better. And then I'll get the spudger in here. If I can get the spudger in here. Oh, maybe not. Maybe I won't get the spudger in here. And we'll get that bit out. And then if I go around the other side, there is another clip as well. And then it clips straight back in again. Excellent. Feisty. Right, that's it out now. So what's this going to reveal? Everything has stayed in here. That's interesting. Right. Does this slide out? Oh, it does. That's quite neat, isn't it? That is very neat. And the bottom comes off with the total internal reflection lens, revealing the little circuit board in the end, which is doubling up with the LED and also the filaments. Right. What else happens here? I'm going to guess there's a bit of wiring down here, and I'll take these screws out. This screwdriver looks appropriate. I wonder what size of cell it is. I don't think it's going to be an 18650, but I could be wrong. I mean, it looks like it could accommodate an 18650 in there. We'll soon find out. It's not. It looks like a 14500. Okay. Right. Let me pull this cell out. It's a 14500. What do they state the size as? 500 milliamp hour. We can put that to the test. And there is the... That's interesting. The filaments at this end, I've just got a bit of wire going around them all to link them together. At the bottom, they're linked by the circuit board. So there's a couple of wires going down to the bottom, the blue and the white, and there's a little red wire going to the top of the filament. Okay, tell you what, I shall take a picture of this circuit board and we can explore it. One moment, please. So before we look at the circuit board, I'd like to show you some things that concern me about this design. Chromium plating is conductive. This meter is currently set continuity, and when you put it onto the chrome, it shows the continuity. And is it just luck that where they've been soldering this around, have they burnt the chrome off or something like that? Or just got lucky that it's not actually bridging onto the chrome? Likewise, at the other end, it passes through the chrome, the filament, and then you get this filament, this lens holder goes over, and it's all chrome and it squishes up around that as well. There is quite a close proximity of conductive chrome to other stuff, but it's perhaps, I mean, it's bad enough, but then when you look at the, I'll just turn this off and put it out the way. When you look down the end of the barrel, now I don't know if you're going to see this, I shall zoom down and shine a light down the end, and you can see that the blue connection is the common positive, and it goes down to a solder connection at the bottom there. The lithium cell, that's the common positive connected to effectively to the lithium cell's positive. And the lithium cell's negative has the longest lead, and it's pushed right down to the bottom of that with nothing to stop the end of it actually touching that solder connection. In fact, the lithium cell, just as the wire, is actually soldered directly onto the metal of the cell, which is also a bit taboo. I've got my concerns about this. Another thing that's worth mentioning here, this must be a very labour intensive light to make, because laying all these filaments in, I don't know how they put them in. I don't know if they lay them in and then put the circuit board in, or have them folded out, put it up and then hinge them in and then wrap the wire around, then solder it. But this is going to take a long time to make. It's quite an irksome thing. Okay, let's take a look at the schematic. So here's the circuit board first, and it's very textbook. Here's a USB-C connector. It's got positive and negative, but they've not connected the CC pins with the resistor that would normally tell smart chargers that it's connected to load. So if you have one of these and you plug it into a smart charger and it just doesn't charge, then plug it into a dumb charger instead, because that the smart charger won't sometimes put out power unless it detects a certain condition on the pins. So there is a rather randomly named chip. It's effectively an LTH7, and it's got the decoupling capacitors on the input and the output. The 5 volts goes to the input of that chip, and then the output goes to charge the battery. We've got a 1K resistor from the 5 volts to the LEDs that indicate charging or complete charge status. And we've got a 2.4K resistor, which is used to program the current that's going to be used to charge the cell. The cell is currently under test. It's doing okay. It's currently about 250 milliamp hour with most of its charge left. So I'm going to guess 400 to 500 milliamp hour. So the cell is connected to this chip here. Now, is this a dedicated flashlight chip or is this a microcontroller? Not sure. But one of the extra pins here, maybe it's a mode selecting pin, but one of them has also been tied to the positive rail. Now, unused pins in microcontrollers, you can assign them as an output, or sometimes if you want to be super low standby current, which they would here, you can tie it to an input and it just keeps the current low, the standby current low. The switch just bridges one of the microcontroller or control chip pins to the 0 volt rail, and that toggles between off the variable intensity of the filaments and the spots, and those connections go over to the MOSFETs here, A2SHB MOSFETs. They've both got a 10K pull down resistor, and then the gate is driven directly by the chip. And then rather odd choice. I mean, they're going for intensity here. They've, on both outputs, they've got 1.5 ohm resistors for both this LED and these LEDs, and with a freshly charged cell, that comes into about 600 milliamps. It's a lot of current. Hacks, you could actually change those resistors for higher ones if you wanted longer runtime and not to grill the LEDs. So let me show you the schematic. And it's a very standard schematic. Regulars to the channel will know that all these circuits tend to be very, very similar. I'm just going to add a little bit of colour here. I feel I should add a bit of colour here. But the reason for that is that almost everything, all standard circuitry is very common. If you, say, for instance, got a job fixing CNC machines in an industrial environment, you'd very quickly find that everything's modular and they all follow the same sort of designs, and you'd get comfortable with them very quickly, the technology. Okay, I have to say the circuitry in the CNC machines is probably louder when it fails than this, but it's the same sort of thing. Anyway, moving on. Generic charge control chip. There's the resistor fed from the incoming 5 volt supply for the two LEDs that show the charge status. There's the programming resistor that sets the current that the lithium cell will be charged at. Let's provisionally put that down, 400 to 500 milliamp. It does seem reasonable for what it's marked. Mystery chip, could be a microcontroller, might be a dedicated chip with its little pull down pin. It's got a pull up on that pin, but a pull down when you push the button. And then the two outputs, very simple, going to the A2SHB MOSFETs with the pull down resistors on the gates, and then those two current limiting resistors, and then the LEDs. All very straightforward. I mean, the light itself is visually quite nice. I like the construction of it, but it does make me squirm. I would say that if you had one of these, I'd possibly say you're going to have to remove solder connections to do this, though. That it would be good putting a little insulator on each end of the cell just to prevent things getting shorted out. It's also quite nice, the battery connects, the lithium cell connects to the back of the circuit board because it's down the inside, and so do the two wires going down to the bottom here. But the positive wire that feeds the filament comes up onto the top next to its MOSFET just because it isn't outside of that when it's screwed on. It's been well enough thought out in many ways, but not always. But anyway, I'm just going to check that lithium cell and see if it's finished its test yet. One moment, please. And the lithium cell is currently showing 300 milliamp hour, but only 3.16 volts, which is very close to the end of charge. Maybe I was a bit generous there. Bring that back in. I'll make it, let's say, 300 to 400, 500. And once I get the result, I'll put it in the description down below so you can see. Other things, the high, medium, low in the filaments is 568 milliamps, 290 milliamps and 150 milliamps, and the high-low on this is 546 and 171 milliamps. Quite zesty. But that is it. An interesting little light. I like the way it goes together, but some elements of its construction, like most products these days, are just a little tiny bit concerning. But other than that, it's quite visually appealing.